Stop the clock. Take time out. Time to regroup before you lose the bout. Freeze the frame. Back it up. Time to refocus before they wrap it up.
Hello and welcome back to Patreon with Cheese. I'm joined as always by my good friend and editor, Liz Eston. How are you doing, Liz?
I'm good. I'm doing good.
You know how I'm doing?
Tick, tick, booms.
Well, I was going to go into this rant about how turning 30 is really rough. But yeah, that's fine. You skipped the gun right there.
Oh, no, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's not a real Musicals with Cheese episode. I don't need to build up. So I bet you're wondering why this is on the Patreon and not on the main feed. And it's because I love this movie so much, and I didn't want Andrew to ruin it for me. If you want
So
me
he asked
to be
me
honest,
to watch it instead.
I had Liz watch instead because she wouldn't be immediately dismissive of every feeling I had about it. And we're sorry
Andrew,
to
we love
interrupt
you.
your regularly scheduled encore coverage, but we feel like we
Yes.
should talk about this.
Yeah, talk about the booms and the ticks and the sounds
Exactly. So
and
Liz,
the cameos.
how did you like the movie?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I thought Lynn did a great job. I did not anticipate liking it initially because
you hate
I
Rent.
hate Rent. I remember when the trailers came out, I genuinely didn't care. I was like, whatever, Jonathan Larson, he sucked. He wrote Rent. I hate it. I didn't even watch the trailer. I ignored it. But then I gave it a shot, and I was like, oh, this is actually pretty good. I don't hate Jonathan Larson. I just don't like Rent.
Yeah, that's kind of how I've always felt, because I watched Tick, Tick, Boom at a young age, around the time I found Rent out, and I was like, this is better than Rent. Even like when
It's
I was
way
young
better
and
than
didn't
Rent.
hate Rent, I was like, this is a better show, like better songs, better story, feel more connection, feels more personal. Rent feels like it's
Yeah.
a show trying to be a success, as weird as that sounds, considering it's such a weird show.
Yeah, it was a success when it achieved its goal, but
Yeah.
I think Tick Tick Boom it's doing really well critically and streaming wise so far. Netflix doesn't release analytics, so we have no idea.
Yeah.
But, but we can just guess based on reaction. But I think Tick Tick Boom is one of those like personal things I've seen recently in terms of like a musical, and that it hit me in certain spots. Like, oh, I make art. I know how this feels.
Yes.
Like that montage right before he's writing the song where he spends way too long cleaning.
Yep.
I have done that so many times because my room is a mess 3/4 of the time. I cleaned this morning because I just thought about it. I was like, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to clean my room. But, like, just little things like being stuck so you go do something else entirely. Like, it's very relatable for when you make stuff and you're out of ideas. So
I mean, I agree with that, but there's a thing about this show. No other way this film could have been made aside from the way it was made. Like, let's think about it. Jonathan Larson was the heir apparent to Sondheim, who was the heir apparent to Oscar Hammerstein III. Then the heir apparent to Jonathan Larson was Lin-Manuel Miranda. Then Lin-Manuel Miranda made a film about his heir apparent featuring that heir apparent's heir apparent. It is...
So it's a cycle.
It's like I'm watching a family tree of who changed Broadway.
It's a lot like to think about. I don't know a ton about like history of Broadway
Right.
stuff, so I'm just going this as a movie. I'm more looking at it like, oh, this is a good movie.
Yes, but also what is the sprinkles on top of the structure is the nuggets of the Broadway commenting on itself.
Yes, it's like Hollywood commenting on itself. It's wonderful.
I mean, it's rarely good when it's Hollywood. Maybe it's
Yeah.
just because it so rarely happens with Broadway
Yeah.
that this kind of
Yeah, it
screams
really
out
does.
more.
Like The Prom could have done it, but they didn't.
They really didn't. They did not care.
No.
But if we were going to put our bets on anyone making something good, Lin-Manuel Miranda would have been at the top of the list. Because he went to film school at the same time he was going to musical theater school. Like, he double majored. So he's equally as trained in filmmaking technique as he is in musical theater writing.
Oh, yeah. He also, like, presumably spent a lot of time with John M. Chu while working on In the Heights. And because I got some vibes from that here. Like, just a lot of the magical realism stuff. It was like, he learned something on the set of In the Heights, huh?
Yeah. Have you ever seen... You've seen Cabaret, of course.
Yes, I have. I had to. But yes.
Yes. You have not seen All That Jazz.
No.
All That Jazz is my favorite film of all time.
Interesting.
Yeah. Considering someone that did not like the Cabaret movie, I know that's a very interesting thing to say.
Yeah, you really don't like Cabaret.
I don't like
I
that
didn't
movie.
mind it.
But I really love All That Jazz. And this and All That Jazz are kind of the same movie if you think really hard about it. So let me pitch this.
Pitch it.
All That Jazz is a film made by Bob Fosse about himself. And there's a ticking clock of him slowly dying over the film because the musical theater career he's chosen is killing him. So there's a ticking clock in his life counting down to his death. But it's from a musical theater person that changed the scope of musical theater and got to see his success and hates his success. Then you've got Tick, Tick, Boom, which is a musical about a man that is going to change musical theater, but will never get to see it, telling his own story from the point of view before that happens, and miserable, and there's a ticking clock, and he feels like he's never doing enough. They are the same stories about two different kinds of obsessed artists, and how it could...
Yeah.
They both come to the same message that life is more important than the art. And I feel like a lot of people are missing out on that part of the message, whether it's like just focusing on the art part of it. People aren't realizing that this movie, in the mind of Lin-Manuel Miranda, Jonathan is the bad guy that needs to learn a lesson.
Yeah, like he screws up throughout the movie repeatedly with his girlfriend, with his friend, with just the people in his life. Like, he's so focused on this one thing, he's like screwing over everyone else in the process. But people just frame him as a hero because it's easier.
Yeah, I guess they say just because he didn't stop working, maybe that's the reason. There's a reason why the last shot of the film isn't of Jonathan playing his piano, it's a shot of him and Michael. There's a reason he doesn't get the girl in the end. There's some intentional storytelling here about obsessive compulsive writing.
Yeah, there's a point to this, and that should get across.
And a lot of people are just like, this spoke to me as an artist and how important, like, dedicating to your craft is. I'm like, no, that's not what this movie is about!
No, what I got from it was I can focus on my art, but my people in my life are just as important, if not more, in many aspects. So, like, I need to know to step away from my art and learn to connect with my family and my friends and my significant other and all those people. So
100%. And that's why a lot of the reaction to this film is bothering me. Like, it is obviously a good film, but the messages some people are taken from it really bother me.
Yeah, it's like Rent. People think the best people are very off about the message.
Yeah. Whereas this one, I feel like Jonathan knew exactly what he wanted to say with this show, and this is a pretty decent reflection of what both the off-Broadway stage version and the original monologue were. Of course, liberties are taken for mostly positive, but it is a representation of the message he was trying to get across.
Yeah.
Where Rent feels confused because you don't know what message they want to get across aside from, hey, be glad you're not dead today, which comes across, I guess. But that comes a lot between the fights between Jonathan Larson and Michael Greif. And by all accounts, from everyone I've ever spoken to, Michael Greif made a lot of bad choices that are still in the show, and Jonathan hated them. And a lot of what I hate about the show seems to have come from Michael Greif.
Ah, good to know.
And
wait, Michael is based on Michael Greif?
No, Michael Greif did not show up in Jonathan's life until Rent. He would later go on to direct Next to Normal and Dear Evan Hansen too.
And I know, and he made Tick, Tick, Boom like a 3-person show.
No, he did not direct the stage version of Tick, Tick, Boom.
Okay,
he was not involved in that. But Michael...
I did very quick research, guys. Sorry.
It's okay. I'm here because I'm a wealth of knowledge about stupid bullshit. But there's a famous letter to Stephen Sondheim that Jonathan Larson wrote right before the premiere of, or previews of, the New York Theater Workshop production of Rent, where he's like, I really want to fire Michael Greif. And Sondheim's like, hey, just stick with it through the workshop, and then you can fire it when he goes to Broadway. And then Jonathan died, and Michael Greif got to take all the glory.
Oh, no. God. That's terrible.
I think about that
So
a
no
lot.
wonder Rent is still bad. The thing with Rent is it has been the same since previews,
Exactly.
largely.
That is the problem
it-
with Rent.
Rent has never changed, which is why people don't like Rent, because the previews of a show and the Broadway version are very different. A lot happens in between there. But we need to preserve Jonathan Larson's work, so we need to keep it the same. So...
Yeah, and Jonathan was really a big rewriter. Like, especially you can see it in this show. He was like, oh, let's rewrite this and retool that. He was a big rewriter, especially with Rent. If you look at the demos of Rent, the one song, Glory's original title was Right Brain, about Roger wanting to use the right brain and all that. There's a lot, and Maureen was like an actual radical activist. And then they turned her into Michael Greif's suggestion, into a dummy. A big old bisexual dummy that loves cheating on her girlfriend. That was Michael Greif's suggestions.
So Michael Greif is the reason we think bisexuals are sluts. Got it. Thanks, Michael Greif.
In that specific musical, yes.
I mean, Rent is important in a lot of ways.
Yes.
It's the first mainstream theatrical representation of a lot of LGBTQ people in the AIDS crisis. And all. Rent is very important on a cultural level. But if you just watch it as a story, it's not great.
No. And I think Jonathan would probably agree with you in its current form.
Yeah. And, like, no offense to Rent fans. You like what you like. For some reason, I don't fully hate Angel Lloyd Webber's terrible Cinderella. So.
Hey, Brie liked it too.
Okay. I feel like I'm in good company then. Thank you. Maybe it's because we're both, honestly, it feels very teenage girly, and maybe that's probably why.
Well,
it reminds me of how angsty I was at 12.
I said that in the podcast, and Bree's like, no, you're stupid. Why would you say that? Like, why would mine more the target demographic? I was like, I don't know. Maybe I am stupid.
No, it's the youths. It's the demographics of youths. Like, no offense to Rent fans. I like my trash. I am an active viewer. I used to be an active viewer of 90 Day Fiancé. So.
Used to be. What made you stop? That show is apparently amazing.
It all got moved to Discovery Plus, and I don't want to pay for another streaming service.
Oh,
so.
Girl, just let. I'll hook you up.
I know.
I'll hook you up.
I don't. I have a hookup. It's okay. I'm good. I just don't feel like using it sometimes.
That's fair. Okay. Because Andrew.
FBI agent in my computer. Don't yell at me.
Andrew uses all my streaming services. He has an account on all my streaming services.
That's amazing. Even Shudder?
Yeah.
Shudder doesn't have accounts.
Doesn't matter. He still has access.
That's true.
I love Andrew so much and trust him with so much in my life. He could literally destroy me if he wanted to.
He has the power.
He literally has the power to destroy me in so many ways. I am very grateful he has not done that yet.
Andrew, you're an icon.
Yes.
You really are.
Meatloaf's favorite band.
Meatloaf.
Another fat artist.
Another fat artist. Truly iconic. I rewatch that Meatloaf video all the time when I'm, like, really stuck. I really do.
I watch the Mamma Mia video whenever I'm, like, really bummed out. Like, that usually is, like, just a shot of dopamine. Your editing in that one is so good.
Yeah, a lot of drunken shenanigans.
Yeah.
So much drunken shenanigans.
You make my drunken shenanigans look fun and not sad, though.
Yeah, I cut out the crying. I'm kidding. There was no crying.
There was crying. It's just made it into the video.
It was just Bree's crying, and I didn't want to put it in at first. Then Bree was like, put it in. And I was like, okay, since Bree said it, I'll put it in.
It was so funny.
It was, but I was like, I don't want to show Bree crying.
I can't believe he married the baby.
That'll be in my tombstone. I can't believe she married the baby. No one will know the context.
Why is Andrew so fucking funny even when he's drunk? Not fair.
Not to mention the bagel line.
I'm gonna have a bagel after this, I think.
I'm gonna have a bagel after this.
No, it's the best part is the I think at the end. Like, he's not sure about it yet.
He's thinking about eating a bagel, but he's not positive.
Oh, what a night.
What a time to watch that on on my screen.
Yeah. So, Tick, Tick, Boom, how was Andrew Garfield's performance?
I was genuinely surprised how much I liked him in this.
Do you not like him in general?
I like him in general. It's more like I heard he was being cast, and I knew he had no singing training, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be interesting.
In my opinion, Jonathan wrote this for him to sing, and Jonathan wasn't the best singer to begin with. So I had a fairly...
it matches. It matches.
The problem, I think Andrew Garfield's too good a singer to be Jonathan Larson singing this song. Have you seen clips of him singing?
Yeah, I caught some on Twitter yesterday, actually.
Yeah, the thing about Jonathan Larson is he's like in the Sondheim realm of singing where he will put all of his emotion into it, but it's not like the most tonally perfect thing in the world. So it's like, stop the clock! He's blowing out all the fucking mics, screaming at the top of his lungs more than actually hitting a song on note.
Oh, yeah. I think, for acting points, it doesn't really hit it, but I think in a theatrical way, like, it works because a lot of the musical numbers are fantastical. Yeah. So I'm sure that's how he imagines he sings. But in real life, he's just like, he's probably he's better singing than me so much, but I'm also tone deaf.
Yeah. So, I'm tone deaf-ish. Depends on the song.
That's why I did stage crew in high school. So,
you
but
are a great performer, Liz. Don't sell yourself
short. Yeah, sure. But I think overall Garfield did a good job, especially in the acting front.
Yeah.
He did a really good job. I think he could get an Oscar nom for this.
He might win.
He could win an Oscar for this because his competition is not very high.
What, Adam Driver in House of Gucci? You think he's gonna win?
Yeah. No fucking way. Jared Leto in House of Gucci? No.
Lady Gaga in House of Gucci?
She'll get nominated. I can.
Adam Driver in The Last Duel? What other Oscar bullshit movies are coming out?
No one watched The Last Duel, and Ridley Scott is still mad.
So he's telling everyone to fuck off in every interview.
Yeah, literally. He's so angry. He's such an angry old man. He's just like, you guys only want to watch superhero movies. This is ridiculous. Like, The Last Duel was undermarketed.
R-rated.
The trailer looked R-rated. The trailer looked bad. And it only has a very niche, little group of people that want to watch it.
The thing is, my favorite Ridley Scott film isn't even Alien. It's The Duelist. Have you ever seen that
The
one?
Duelist, yeah. I've never, but I've heard of it.
Harvey Keitel is fucking amazing in that movie. That movie is so fucking good.
What year did the movie come out?
Like the 70s, late 70s. Or...
Oh, so it's very young Harvey Keitel, so it's even better.
Sexy Harvey Keitel.
Ooh. I remember when I watched The Piano, and it was right after it was a runtime after I watched Reservoir Dogs. I'm like, oh, Harvey Keitel actually looked good back then.
Yeah, he's sexy. Have you ever seen Taxi Driver?
Yes.
He looks like
does not
Tommy
look good in that one.
Wiseau in that movie.
He does, though.
Like, I need you to be reminded of how he looks so you know. Because me and Miranda watched it recently, and it was just like, man, he's dressed as Tommy Wiseau. If you, dear audience, are listening, please look up Harvey Keitel in Taxi Driver and tell me he does not look like Tommy Wiseau.
Tommy Keitel.
Tommy Keitel.
Right. Nope. He literally is dressed like Tommy Wiseau.
That is a Tommy Wiseau costume he has on.
He's ready for Halloween.
And then he makes out with a 13-year-old Jodie Foster. That movie's weird.
Yeah, he's a pimp to a child cooker, so you know.
Yeah, and he's portrayed sympathetically. That movie's weird. Also, Martin Scorsese has a cameo in it, and he says the N-word a bunch. So I want to turn this into the meme of Quentin Tarantino and Martin Scorsese handshake is saying the N-word in films they directed.
Oh God, that's true. Oh God.
No wonder
Quentin,
film boys love
N-word.
him so much.
Film bros love fucking not Harvey Keitel. They love Quentin Tarantino way too much. Yeah. It irritated me as a partial film student.
I don't even like most of Quentin Tarantino's films. I like more of Lin-Manuel Miranda's films than Quentin Tarantino's films.
Well, he's got one that he directed.
Well, there you go.
That's 1 out of 1. Good job, Lin.
100% success rate.
That's true. If you stop here, you got 100% success rate. If you don't want to keep making movies.
Yeah, be like Bradley Cooper. Have your 100% success rate forever and then never direct a film again.
be immortalized as like a really good director the one time and never make a movie again. Don't be like the Donnie Darko guy who did the one movie that's really good and then did the really bad one right after.
I like The Box. The Box is so stupid and I love it.
I love The Box. I watched it with Matt in college and we were just cracking up for half of it.
The movie's so stupid. I love every second of it.
Same. Oh my god. Like, also, there's the premise of it. It's just hilarious to think about. Because, like, there's the Vine. It's just like, if you hit this, you'll get $1 million. But 100 million people will die. Millions, but no.
No. It's framed as, if you hit this, one person will die. And then you never hear what the good part is, and you just smack the button.
I would literally just smack it. I was like, oh, it's one person? Okay. I want money.
It's a ridiculous movie.
It's really funny. If you guys are looking for a bad thriller movie, like a funny thriller movie, highly recommend The Box.
You know, we're going to pause this and talk about The Box for one more second. Cameron Diaz is in that movie. She does a shitty Southern accent, and her main hamartia of a character, she has a little bit of a messed up foot. And then that's framed as like her big thing that's wrong with her as a character.
Yeah. In the movie, doesn't she end up in like a chase scene and her foot comes up as a thing that's like hold her back?
Very barely.
I don't remember the ending of The Box. I remember like the beginning of The Box.
No. Let me tell you what the ending is.
It got really boring.
It is very boring. And it becomes like this whole thing. But in the end, like James Marsden, who I believe is her husband.
James Marsden is the husband, yeah.
It's the most ableist shit. And guys, don't really watch The Box. But
yeah,
James Marsden is the husband, and what is his name? The guy that played Skeletor. Shit.
Frank Langella.
Frank Langella shows up, and he's like, "Yeah, your son is now blind and deaf. Unless you shoot your wife, he will be that way forever." And then he's like, "We have to do it for my son," and then he shoots his wife. Then he gets arrested and the son can suddenly hear and see and talk again and whatever.
Oh, I think I blanked that out on purpose.
No, that was the dumbest shit I ever seen. That is stuck in my brain forever.
I think I blanked it out on purpose because it was too stupid. Oh, God. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, The Box.
You know who's really good, though? Robin DeJesus in Tick, Tick, Boom. He plays Michael. Robin
DeJesus?
Is that how you say it?
I'm not. It's either Robin DeJesus or Robin DeJesus.
Robin DeJesus is very good in Tick, Tick, Boom as Michael.
Very good. He's really good. I think Michael has a lot. He wasn't in it like a ton, but he isn't like just enough.
Yeah, he's in there enough to make an impression, a very good impression. Yeah. I like that what they did musically with the song Real Life, which is like a full number in the stage show, and they just kind of make it in this emotional, cacophonous thing. It's great.
Oh, yeah. It's just Andrew Garfield monologuing about all his feelings while it like is in the background. It's like, oh, wow, I'm crying. Okay.
Yeah.
This is happening.
And he's like acting it out perfectly. And I like that the film doesn't like, oh, we're singing live. They really don't even lay on that very often until like the last song, which I believe was when he sang Why at the piano. And that was really good. Oh,
yeah, that was fantastic. Also, the one he sang in the park.
That was
which
it.
Was
That's it.
Oh, okay. I got those songs confused then.
Yeah. Why is the one he sings in the park. Louder Than Words, which also sounds like it should be titled Why.
Louder Than Words sounds like it should be titled Why. Yeah.
I don't understand why the song with the chorus, hey, what a way to spend the day, is called Why.
Yeah, I think What a Way to Spend the Day would be a better title for that song. But, that's a really good song. All the songs are great. Yeah. I really liked all of them.
And you're not a Jonathan Larson fan.
I'm not. I'm genuinely not. I hate most of the songs in Rent. I only like the one that, like, the aid, like, the people in the AIDS, like, support. Yeah, that's the only good song in Rent.
I agree.
Literally. And, like, the rest, they're not hot garbage, but I don't like listening to them. If I had a choice, I would avoid them at all costs. But they're too famous in the musical theater landscape. I can't escape them. So.
Well, my favorite song in this isn't even a song in this. My favorite song is the Superbia montage.
Oh, yeah. No, the Superbia songs are really good, too. I was just like... And I think someone in our page, so one of our patrons tweeted this when the movie was out for like 2 days about how we need a Zoom Superbia musical.
Hell yeah, Kelly Lynn Hayes should make it. They do a great job.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. So we make a Zoom Superbia musical. That'd be great.
I love that song. Like, I've listened to all of Superbia. It needs work. The show in general isn't perfect, but a lot of the songs really do work and come together.
Yeah, even that song he writes at the very last minute, I was like, oh, this is gonna feel like one of those Oscar songs I added a movie just to get awards.
Yeah. I mean, it does still, because they added like a 90s twang to it.
It does, but also it's written for a character that has my name, and I feel attacked. So
Elizabeth?
No, Elizabeth.
Ugh. You need a song for the young lady, Elizabeth, in the second act.
I mean, the fact that Bradley Whitford as Stephen Sondheim has said my name is pretty good.
How did you like Bradley Whitford as Stephen Sondheim?
I love Bradley Whitford dearly. My parents are big West Wing fans, so Bradley Whitford has been a figure in my life for many years. Even though I did watch West Wing, I don't want to watch it.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's too political. I need an escape. When I need escapist television, I don't want to watch politics because politics stresses me out. Okay. Anyway, I love Bradley Whitford so much in this. He does it like I think he does a good job. I don't know a ton about Stephen Sondheim.
What?
I'm not a Sondheim scholar per se. I've seen a few interviews with him, and it felt like Sondheim. It didn't feel like Bradley Whitford being Sondheim.
Okay.
Also, it does help that his first scene is him talking to Richard Kind, who I also love. So.
I mean, you gotta tip your doorman.
Yeah, tip your doorman. With a little cocaine.
Yeah, paying off like his connection to Sondheim. I think Bradley Whitford did a very good job. Much like Andrew Garfield as Jonathan, I never lost myself. He never became Sondheim to me in the way that I tend to look for. Andrew Garfield was always just Andrew Garfield. He was just Bradley Whitford doing a pretty good Sondheim impression, pretty good. It's like Tom Hanks' Walt Disney. I'm like, that's a fine Walt Disney impression. You are not Walt Disney, though.
I never thought Garfield was Larson, but maybe because he's super famous and he was Spider-Man for a time.
Yeah, that's not it.
Might be part of it.
Jonathan Larson was not a very flamboyant and flighty kind of guy. He was like weird dude bro energy.
Oh, got it.
And Andrew Garfield's playing him very big and flamboyant, more like how I am as a person than say, who would be Jeff. Emily's husband Jeff is the vibe Jonathan Larson gives off. Kind of grounded, like, hey, how you doing? Like laid back. Especially like going by Anthony Rapp's stories, where he just sat quietly during the Rent auditions, and then Michael Graff's like, thanks, that's great, it's good, it's gotta go. And then Jonathan's like, hey, you were in Dazed and Confused. I love that movie. Like, that is Jonathan Larson's energy. Where Andrew's like, I need to go do this, I need to make my show, which is Lin-Manuel Miranda's energy.
Yeah, he's doing a Lin impression.
He is doing a Lin impression, which is a take, but that is not Jonathan Larson.
It's not Jonathan, but it's entertaining.
Yeah, it's a good character.
So, I will
it's not
honestly. The real Jonathan Larson. I think he would. I think him playing him super accurately, being like a deadpan guy who's like doesn't talk much, probably would make the movie kind of dull.
Don't confuse it for not talking much, but think of it more like, we'll listen before he talks.
Yeah. Garfield just talks.
Yeah, which is Lin.
Which is Lin. He just talks. He just keeps going, and writes songs about presidents.
What do you think? Okay, so I take my girlfriend to see this, and she has a lot of problems with white boy artist narratives. That's always, like, she hates all that jazz, despite it being my favorite film. Like, she will openly tell me when things I enjoy or she does not enjoy. She hates the white boy artist narrative because she just doesn't believe art is something you should torture yourself over in general. It is something to escape from and to make. It is a job. She doesn't get it. Which I respect a lot, because in our field, we get a lot of pretentious motherfuckers out there.
So many.
I think they're curing cancer when they're making art, which is the best line in this film, where it's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm making art. Just what we need more of, right? And I'm like, finally, someone said it.
Exactly. So many people think they're good. So many people went to film school to basically talk like they're going to be the next Steven Spielberg in terms of cinema. And it's like, no, you're not, dude. You're going to make a Quentin Tarantino knockoff for your senior thesis and call it a day. No one's going to freaking watch it. So who cares? Ugh.
Yeah, it's...
I didn't date any of those film bros.
Neither did I.
I refused to. I ended up dating a marketing major who was not pretentious. So
Yeah.
he lets me watch trash because he loves trash.
I love trash. I love trash. I love trash so much. But I'm glad that this film is not deifying that attitude of
Yeah.
artists are the greatest thing in the world. I remember a few years ago, Viola Davis gave an Oscar speech like, this is the best field and the most important thing in the world. And I'm like, Viola, no, we're not. You guys make things in front of a camera. You make faces in front of a camera.
How to Get Away with Murder is not going to change someone's life.
No, it might ruin some people's lives. I always respect artists like James Gunn, who's like, I make fun stuff. Who cares? I make entertainment.
Exactly. Yeah, like there's stuff like there's media that like means a lot to me and has helped me emotionally, but I know that's not the intention of the people making it half the time. It's like I just want to make this to make it, and if it touches people emotionally, then it does. So
well, you probably don't know Sondheim's oeuvre that much, but you probably heard the words "Look, I made a hat" and "finishing the hat."
I have seen the Company documentary, so I have heard some of those words.
It's not from Company. It's from Sunday in the Park with George.
Okay, I have not seen that.
Yes. And basically, that's my method for writing and creating all that. It's, hey, there's something that didn't exist that I just made, and that's pretty great. That is the top of how I'd make art. Like, something exists that didn't exist yesterday. When Lynn accepted his first Tony, he said, Mr. Sondheim, look, I made a hat where there never was a hat.
I think that's a good way to think about it. Yeah.
That's all you do. And yeah, and I think a lot of people misinterpret what that song means as like art is so torturing and so terrible for the artist. No, it's about making something and then like the first half of Sunday is about a pretentious man getting less pretentious than dying. Then the second act is about his great-grandson making really pretentious art. He's making these fucking machines that shoot lasers, and then he gets told by his great-great-great-grandmother, who comes back as Bernadette Peters, is like, yo, what the hell? Stop worrying about what you're making and whether it's new. If it's new, others will tell you that. Just make what you like. Which is the message of Sunday in the Park with George. Doesn't matter what you're making, just make something.
I thought the whole thing was about the painting. Now I want to watch Sunday in the Park with George.
Sunday in the Park with George is so fucking good, and people are like, oh, it's so boring because it's all about a painter. No, it's a deeper metaphysical thing. And it makes people feel uncomfortable.
Both of these men?
Yes, he plays the older version of himself and the younger version. So the first one is all about like the creation of the painting and him talking to people and having a hard time connecting but able to make art. And how that's kind of a toxic thing. And then Act 1 ends with him dying. Act 2 opens up. We see the painting. Characters that we saw in the painting sing a song about like being up there on a fucking screen forever. Then we pan out and we're 100 years later in 1984. And Mandy Patinkin sings this great song called Putting It Together about like, I got to make all this money to make more art so I can make more money so I can make more art, about like financing your art. And then it's all about like the gross, like how people are like, this has been done. Where all of Act 1 is like, why are you doing things differently? And then it builds up to him being like, fuck, I don't know what to do now. And then Bernadette Peters as his great-grandmother's great-great-great-grandmother. It's like, George, it's nice to see you again. You should just make something new, whether or not you care if it'll make money. Just do it because you have to.
Yeah, no, there's like these people that are like, this movie is okay, but it's basically like this movie or this movie. And I'm like, what's wrong with that?
Exactly.
There's literally, like, Slither is an homage to old monster movies from like the early 1900s.
And it's so good.
And it's amazing. Like, we've remade everything since like 1920. We've been doing remakes for 100 years at this point. I don't really see the argument that every movie needs to change the game of cinema, because I don't need it to. Like, occasionally I want a high-budget rom-com starring actors who have very little chemistry, presumably, but it's a fun time because I know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Like that new J-Lo movie coming out that looks super formulaic.
Yes, I am excited as fuck for that.
I am so down to see Owen Wilson fall in love with someone so out of his league.
And the thing is, it's not framing it like, oh, he should be embarrassed. Like, I feel like I will not be embarrassed watching that movie.
No, it's like, it's just, it has the, it, like, that's the vibe. Like, I love a good 2000s rom-com that I've seen 60 times.
The Holiday,
like,
wonderful. Jack Black, Kate Winslet, hell yes.
Yeah. Or, like, there's a terrible rom-com. It's not great, but it's called What's Your Number? It's very sexist in its premise.
Chris Evans, Anna Faris.
Chris Evans, Anna Faris, basically, if you sleep with 21 men, you'll never get married, according to some chick magazine. It's super sexist. But Chris Evans' first scene, he's completely naked, and the only thing is his towel is covering his junk. And then it became my favorite movie for a week. So
I don't blame you.
Yeah, but it's real trashy. I don't watch What's Your Number. I don't recommend it, like, at all. But unless you want to see Chris Evans naked for most of the runtime.
Then watch Not Another Teen Movie, where he has a banana up his ass.
Yeah, he does. I rewatched that recently.
Does it hold up?
Yara Zaid made a video about it, and I rewatched it. I was like, it's actually not terrible.
Sarah Zed made a video about it?
Oh, Yara Zaid. She's a new...
okay. I was like, Sarah Zed? I don't think that follows in her usual video structure.
No, Yara Zaid, she did stuff about Elite, about the Craft remakes and sequels and knockoffs. She's done a lot of cool stuff. I recommend her.
All right.
She's a pretty small channel.
Yes. Liz.
But yeah.
How about, instead of returning to Encore next week, we talk about all that jazz and we do a comparison between these two. Because, like, this has been a video essay I've had in my head that I'm just too lazy to actually put in. But these are very similar films from very similar people that had very similar impacts. And it's autobiographical in the same ways, like, in way too meta ways.
Yeah. That sounds like a very interesting back-to-back watch. So, yeah, I'd be down for that.
Because I feel like they're very, very similar shows about why relationships don't work and how they should work, and how they use the musical numbers. How there's a very distinct difference between the real world and the musical number world, and how effectively that's done.
Yeah. No, I know. That sounds very interesting. Let's do it.
And there's a lot of scenes in rehearsal rooms. Like, that's another big connection between these two.
There's a lot of rehearsal room scenes in Tick Tick Boom. So many.
Yeah, but I love it. Those are the best scenes in the movie, in my opinion.
They really are. And also his dingy apartment.
Okay. Anytime I see that apartment, because Lin-Manuel Miranda painstakingly recreated it because Jonathan Larson took a video for insurance reasons in case his apartment caught on fire. So he has an entire account of everything in Jonathan Larson's apartment and where it went. So he remade that apartment step by step. And every time I see that, throughout the entire film, even the first time watching it, all I can think about in the back of my head is, he dies on the floor of this apartment alone. Like, that is what screams in the back of my head.
Oh, he died I didn't know he died in the apartment.
He died alone in the apartment, alone.
Oh, no.
With tea.
That's so sad.
Like, there's a couple shots where there's just the tea bubbling, and he's always drinking tea. And, like, he left the tea on, and it overflowed. Like...
Oh, no.
Like, there's a lot of, like, if you know the history of Jonathan Larson, a lot of these insert shots and, like, it feels eerie and makes me feel gross. But if you don't know those things, you're like, oh, that's just a shot of a tea kettle, and this is his dingy apartment.
Yeah, I did not know that. I just thought, oh, it's a tea kettle in his apartment. That's literally what I thought.
Like, that kind of stuff really kind of messed with me a little bit, as someone that knows too much about Jonathan Larson.
Nerd. I'm kidding.
I mean, I am a nerd.
Yeah. We're all nerds. We're all nerds about different things.
So we haven't talked about the Sunday scene, which is by design in a way. Everyone's talked about this scene.
I had to read an article about the cameos because there were so many that I got lost with. I was like, okay, I know most of these.
So the first cameo gangbang, let's rewind a little bit.
Cameo gang. Oh, that's when he's presenting at the writers' workshop.
Richard Kind and Stephen Sondheim.
Richard Kind is the teacher, and it's great. Richard Kind is just playing someone else. He's not Richard Kind, unfortunately. That'd be funny if Richard Kind just played himself as the teacher.
Hi, I'm Richard Kind. I am teaching musical theater.
I know how to write musicals. I'm Richard Kind.
But in the background, you've got Shanna Tobe, you have Dave Malloy, you've got Stephen Schwartz, you've got Jason Robert Brown, you've got So many Broadway composers. The Broadway elite.
Joe Iconis is like in the corner
Yes.
at the bottom.
Matthew Sklar from The Prom and his writing partner.
Chad Bigulin.
Yeah, they're both in there.
I had to hear you say that name for about a month, about 3 weeks, so I really know how to say it.
And it's so much that even my girlfriend are like, that's Steven Schwartz. What's going on? And I'm like, that's
The
Dave
funny thing
Malloy next to Jason Robert Brown. Who put those two together?
Yeah, we've talked about that, how they're next to each other, but they hate each other. But the thing is, the way the shot is cut, so Jason Robert Brown is at the end of the frame, like on the right of the frame, and then they cut to the next shot, and Dave Malloy is on the left of the frame. So my conspiracy theory is that they hate each other so much that they had to film those shots separately.
Maybe. I just cannot. This is just my headcanon. I have no proof that they hate each other. I cannot imagine them getting along. There is no version in my brain where I see them being buds and going out drinking together.
Dave Malloy, Jason Robert Brown, just like, hey, did you like last 5 years, Dave Malloy? It's like, no one did.
And Dave Malloy, I'm not saying Dave Malloy is going to be the, like, dickish, elitist one. It'll be like Jason Robert Brown being like, what the hell even happened in your show? I have notes.
Yeah, what is the Great Comet? Why wasn't that in the show?
He would probably be like, you could write a chorus every now and then. Like, that's the kind of shit I'd see Jason Robert Brown going up and saying to him.
I just imagine if I ever talking to Jason Robert Brown, he would just give me advice on things that I didn't want advice on.
Do you know the Sondheim story?
I don't.
Okay, I think he was invited to, like, one of Sondheim's readings for either Passion or Bounce. It was an opening night, and everything's going great. He comes up to Sondheim. He's like, I have a page of notes for you. We got to get these in. First words out of his mouth. And Sondheim literally said, tonight is not about notes. It's about celebration. Know your place. And Jason Robert Brown, like, outed himself and wrote an entire article about this experience. Like, it's on his website. Like, why would you do this? Jason Robert Brown does a lot of baffling shit like this. Like, one time he yelled at a child for, like, downloading his music illegally, like his sheet music illegally, and went onto a forum and yelled at her. And she's like, I'm 10. I can't fucking buy shit online, and I'm in a rural town. How the fuck do you want me to get this? He's like, I don't know. I know how much it sucks being 13, but don't steal. I wrote a musical all about how much it sucks to be 13, but no stealing. Yeah,
Ariana Grande was in it before she was famous. I'm amazing.
I wrote Ariana Grande songs. It's called Jason Songs, and I wrote it.
Yeah, I wrote songs for a pop star who's gonna be in Wicked.
Yeah. Let's just say this. Anytime I bring him up on the show, I call him president of the Jason Robert Brown fan club, Jason Robert Brown, and that sums him up pretty well.
Yeah, there's merch for that, too.
Yes, there is. Buy our merch.
On Teespring.
Yeah, not TeePublic. TeePublic supports bigots, and that's not cool.
But yeah, we talked about the first Cameo Fest, but we gotta talk about the other one.
So this is the one where literally in the theater, I was just like, had my mouth over my hand over my mouth, and the entire audience, there was like maybe 5 other people in there, and we're just screaming like, ah! Ah!
The thing is, I watched this like a week after it came out.
Yeah.
I'm very late to the game here. I didn't feel like watching it, and it came out during Thanksgiving craziness, and I didn't have time to sit down and watch it. So I was like, okay, I'll get it later. But I already, at that point, I had been on Twitter, and I already knew about all the goddamn cameos. So I'm watching this like, oh, there's gonna be so many cameos in this. I'm not gonna be able to friggin' pick out any of them. I don't know anything about musical theater. I picked up 75% of them.
Yeah, they're not subtle. Lin-Manuel isn't playing to the cheap seats. He's playing to everyone.
Sure, I couldn't remember Brian Stokes Mitchell's name for the life of me, but like,
what about Howard McGillen?
Like, I don't even know who that is.
He's like one of the longest running Phantoms. He was like the white guy that's like, I need coffee or whatever.
I read an article. They explained that. I should.
Did you notice Joel Grey?
I did notice Joel Grey because I was like, is that Joel Grey? He look old.
He's like 90.
Because he is
I think
old.
He's like the same age as Sondheim.
Don't say that.
Oh, and now he's gonna die before we post this episode. Great.
Did you post the episode where we do that?
Yeah, we did that. No one's brought it up, so I think we're cool.
Okay, thank God. I'm sorry for the sorry Sondheim.
Sorry we killed you, Sondheim.
I said you were gonna live to see it, so it's Jess's fault.
Yeah, it's my fault.
I'm kidding.
Angelica and Eliza.
Doing the Hamilton thing, which, honestly, I don't...
I initially
It was
had issue
cute.
with it. Like, I was like, I'm not a fan of this. And then I realized what they were doing, and I'm like, no, this is fine. I get what you're doing.
Like, it's fine. And I've never seen Sunday in the Park with George, so I
Won't
know
help
of...
you. It won't help.
I know it doesn't help. I know this is like an homage to the Sunday in the Park with George thing.
Yeah.
The entire shebang. Because I know I've seen videos of Sunday in the Park with George. I know the first act at least, because that's the only one that has videos out on YouTube apparently. Because Act 2 I've never seen any images from on YouTube. So that's why I thought it was just about an old guy in a painting.
No. The second act is the best part for me. Everyone else in the world is like, no, the second act is when it stops being good. I'm like, are you stupid? No, the second act's the part that brings it all together.
I want to watch the second act. Well, I'll watch the first act, obviously, but I want to watch the second one.
Yeah, that one's really where it lands.
Yeah. I get the mode of it. It's like a bunch of people standing around singing about something, which I guess Sunday in the Park with George is a lot of, based on what
Okay.
I've seen.
So let me see if I can explain to you what the song means in Sunday in the Park with George and why the connection here means so much, especially with what Lynn's doing here. So
Yeah, with Lynn's homaging.
because I don't think this is what Jonathan intended, but it means so much more because of what Lynn added to it. It makes more sense. So the song Sunday is about the permanence of art and how all these people that had their petty little lives now will live forever. They have eternal life on this painting until the end of time. Even if the painting goes up in flames, their images are there forever. The permanence of art, which is what that song is about. Then let's fast forward to when Jonathan writes it. He was just doing it as a funny little tribute to Sondheim about being at a fucking diner. Yeah, it was just a cute little tribute to Sondheim.
And then Lynn combines both of them.
Yes.
Ish.
Lynn takes the song and he's like, well, this is what the song is about in the show. How can I apply that to Jonathan? Jonathan lives forever. And also, and then he turns it into the past of Broadway with the Joel Greys, the Andre DeShields, the Howard McGillans saluting Jonathan. Then you've got Jonathan himself. And then you've got the Hamiltons, the Fun Homes, and all of that with Lynn himself being in the kitchen. Originally, he was going to have the baker and his wife be the chefs in the kitchen with him.
Yeah, but due to COVID restrictions, they couldn't
Yes.
have that happen.
Then you have the Bernadette Peters, which is what builds it up to, because this is a tribute to Sondheim. You've got the Cheetah Riveras. You've got the B.B. Newworths.
Also, I appreciate how Cheetah Rivera is drinking a martini in the middle of this diner. I just want to point out, I really like that.
I feel like Cheetah was filmed on a different set than everyone else. She had her own little corner in her own little chair.
No, because I didn't see her in the wide, I don't think.
No.
So she's like, hello, I'm here.
I'm here too. Lynn asked me nicely.
Or he just begged, like, I'm making a Tick Tick Boom movie. Please be in the diner.
So that's why it's so important to have the Hamilton and the Sunday and the cabarets of them paying their tributes. That's what that song now means. It is now transformed from its original meaning to the parody meaning to a different interpretation of the original meaning, and how they will all now live on forever, including Jonathan himself.
Yeah. And, this movie has, 30,000 Rent homages. If you really look hard enough.
Yeah, like Cat Scratch Club and all that.
Yeah, the whole, I remember in the beginning, it was just hey, Susan, I have the music set up for your performance, but the speakers aren't working.
And he calls him Pookie, which is what Maureen called. And
throughout the movie,
answering
he's writing questions every time he sees something AIDS related. It's can I, make something out of this?
Well, that becomes Louder Than Words, which is the final song.
Yeah. Which is a good song.
My favorite Rent homage is when he's having trouble thinking of the song and he gets a call from his agent and he's playing One Song Glory in Lynn's words.
Oh.
He's like, if he didn't get that call, he probably would have written One Song Glory early for this show.
That's true. That's true.
That's a funny idea. That's a cute idea. And his
Yeah.
answering machine that says speak.
Yeah. And Judith, also, this is not related, but Judith Light playing, the manager who never shows up and just shows up at the end, delightful. Judith Light is great in this.
She is very good in it. I'm glad she's not a cameo. That feels like an actor performance. Oh, and Judy Kuhn and Danny Burstein playing Jonathan's parents.
That was Danny Burstein.
That was Danny Burstein.
It was.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, no, it was. I read the Wikipedia page before we recorded this.
Yeah. And Judy Kay is a perfect Fernand Larson. Like, she looks just like her. And then the Superbia reading, which is one of the best scenes, and it builds up to Come to Your Senses. Alexandra Shipp, who got her start in Alvin and the Chipmunks 2, The Squeakquel, which I recently binged all 4 of those movies because I hate my life. She is getting a little bit of the shaft, and I think she's very good in this movie. You know, very thankless role that could have been very, very dislikable, distasteful, and mean.
I think she comes off as like an actual person who's dealing with like she wants a career. She has this great career opportunity, and she has this artsy boyfriend who's like just wants to make art and can only focus on art, but she has a step to move forward. So also she's a great singing voice. I liked the way she performed it, so it felt like actory.
Yeah, she's a good actress. Very good actress.
Yeah, she's really good. She's really good. Like, sure, she wasn't the worst X-Men movie, but we don't hold that against her.
Oh, she was in Apocalypse?
Yeah, she played Young Storm.
You're right.
Yeah, she played Young Storm. That's one of the first things I saw her. Like, I didn't see the movie, but I saw the trailer. So I was like, I've seen you before.
Was she in Dark Phoenix?
No, she was just in Apocalypse.
I liked Apocalypse.
No, wait, no. Was she in Dark Phoenix? She might have been. I haven't seen Dark Phoenix either.
I liked Apocalypse. It's so stupid, but I love that movie.
I didn't watch Apocalypse because Oscar Isaac was covered in makeup, and I thought that was a Sid.
It was so funny. That movie is so stupid funny.
The greatest thing ever is like Oscar Isaac has an interviews post the movie. It was just like, that was the worst thing I've ever done in my life. I was sweating in that suit 24/7, and I felt like shit. I hated making that movie. It's the worst decision I ever made. Just like, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, Oscar. You're so hot.
The MVPs of this movie, in my opinion, all the actors are great. The true stars are Vanessa Hudgens and Josh Henry, in my opinion.
Yes. They do fantastic. Also, MJ Rodriguez is not a big character. She's in it though.
Yeah.
She's also good.
And they aren't like highlighting trans character. Just
no,
like
there isn't a scene where she's like, "You're a trans woman, waitress lady." It's like she's just a character.
It's great.
It's good. It's like representation doesn't always have to be in your face. No. It's just like just cast a trans woman as a lead and don't say she's trans. That they did that with MJ Rodriguez in Little Shop. So
good.
Just the only thing that could come out of James Corden's show. Only thing.
That's the only good thing James Corden's ever done.
Preach. But yeah, Joshua Henry. I grew up with Vanessa Hudgens.
Yeah.
So hearing her sing is like weirdly nostalgic for me because I watched High School Musical 2 a lot.
Only the second one?
The High School Musical 1 is pretty good, but when 2 came out, it was clearly the GOAT of the High School Musical franchise. So that's the one I watched the most. But it has the greatest breakup song of all time.
I gotta go my own way.
Greatest breakup song of all time.
Okay, me and Andrew watched through all 3 High School Musicals, and we did commentaries on them, and we discovered the recurring theme between them. The message for each one is putting effort into things is a bad idea. Don't plan, just go up and do the thing and have fun. Doesn't matter if you're putting work into it. Like Sharpay is putting so much work and effort into this, and then Zac Efron and Vanessa Hudgens just show up at the last minute in every single one, and everyone just like, yeah, it's them. And they're obviously a worse performance in all technicality.
Yeah. That's true, actually.
Like, and there's one point where it's like, Sharpay, why do you have to put so much work into this? Can't we just go up and sing? And she's like, I want this to be good. Like, I'm on Sharpay's side for most of the movies, and I don't think the movie's intending that.
It really they were really written for kids because I think those kids are just like to have fun and shoot the shit and go with whatever. So, but when you're an adult, you discover that prep is a thing you need to do for a lot of stuff. So, but we've learned our lesson. Sharpay had her own fabulous adventure. So, in a spin-off movie that like 3 people saw.
It's on Disney Plus. We didn't watch it.
It is. never gonna watch it probably.
But is it a
you know?
musical? Probably not. They probably didn't.
I think it is though. So you might have to, if someone requests it.
Yeah, if they Patreon request it.
Then you got to talk about Sharpay's fabulous adventure.
I'd rather get a fabulous noose around my neck. On that note, what did you think about Tick Tick Boom and your cheese rating?
I quite enjoyed Tick Tick Boom. I liked it more than I thought I would. I thought I wouldn't care. I also watched this for the first time after Sondheim died.
Yeah, I bet that voicemail at the end really hit you.
That voicemail hit me immediately as soon as he says, "Hey, it's Stephen Sondheim." I'm like, "Oh shit! Oh shit!"
Do you know the story of why that's him?
Yes, because Lynn wrote it a certain way, sent it to Stephen Sondheim, and Stephen Sondheim is like, I don't fucking talk like this. This is way too fruit. This is not fruity. That's a bad word. Yeah, this is just way too like artsy
flowery
and stuff. Flowery. That's the word I was looking for. But it's way too flowery. Can I rewrite it? And he's like, okay. And then he's like, oh, but Bradley Whitford is done with the movie, so I can't get him to record a new voicemail. So Sondheim's like, I'll just record it. It's fine.
And I love the Lynn quote afterwards. He's like, if you get a note from Sondheim, you're going to take the note from Sondheim.
Exactly. So yeah, that hit me. Also, just seeing Sondheim in a thing, even if it's played by an actor that isn't Stephen Sondheim, it's just like, it hits you.
Yeah.
A little harder now that he's gone. Because I know it was filmed and immediately released before he died.
I did get choked up when he shows up late to the Superbia reading and just...
Yeah, same. I was like, is Sondheim gonna come?
Like, at that point, you kind of forgot about Sondheim because they don't really focus on him after his first cameo. And then he shows up and like, oh no.
Oh no, Stephen Sondheim is here.
Both the pressure
and I knew the voicemail was coming. So I was like, the voicemail is coming and Stephen Sondheim is here. Fuck! Oh, so sad. But he has a lot of work that he's left behind that we celebrate. So that's the most important thing.
How about we do, after we're done with Encore, we force you to watch Sunday in the Park with George, and we can get your opinion on the first and second acts. That would be fun.
That'd be fun. Yeah. Finally, I can watch Sunday in the Park with George. I mean, I've been playing Meeting 2.
This is my way of getting you to watch a lot of musicals.
This is Jess's method to get me to watch more classic-ish musicals that aren't made in, like, 2000.
Yeah.
I'm very behind.
So what's your overall thoughts on your cheese rating?
I like Tick Tick Boom. It made me cry. It had it made me feel a lot of things. All the acting is great. I think this will get a decent amount of Oscar nominations. I don't know how many. With musicals, it's kind of dicey.
Yeah,
so
unless it's like La La Land.
Like The Artist, which is like a silent movie musical homage bullshit thing, won way too many Oscars. I have not seen it, so I have no idea. But I feel like it won too many Oscars in my opinion. But I'm gonna give it a cheese that I didn't think I was gonna like, but I like quite a bit actually. So I'm gonna give it feta cheese.
That's fair. Tick Tick Boom was an amazing film. Like, it could have only come from Lin-Manuel Miranda, and it could have only come right now, and it probably wouldn't have worked in any other context. So I am going to give this, just some beautiful gift-wrapped cheese assortments that make me happy, because there's so much about this show that I like, there's so much about this musical that I like, and it might be one of the few movie musicals that greatly improves on its source material in nearly every single way.
Yeah, I also haven't seen the source material, obviously, so I'm going in just movie.
It's interesting. Also, I really like the swimming song. Like, that was not in any other version. It was cut for Off-Broadway. I think that song's great.
Especially the visuals they put with it.
Yeah.
Really good.
They did get... There is the thing that everyone that is a person of color in this movie was a white person in real life. That's just another thing to bring up. I don't know what to do with that information, so I wanted to spit that at you. Like, every person of color in this is actually a white person in real life.
Well, it's normally the reverse, so I think that's a good thing.
I think it's a great thing.
So...
But it does make lines like dark skin and wet hair, when it's like white skin and brown hair.
Oh, yeah. That's true. Gotta do some rewrites.
Yeah, good job, Lynn. You know how to write some music and lyrics.
Good job, Lynn.
But we'll see.
I really hope you if you don't make more movies, you're batting 100.
Yeah. They take Basil, you're batting 0. Gotta end with Sondheim. We'll see you next time on Patreon with Cheese. Say goodbye, Liz.
Do I have to?
No.
I'll say goodbye. Goodbye, people.
Goodbye!
Seems like I'm in for a twister. I don't see 90. Into my hands now, the ball is passed. I want the spoils, but not too fast. The world is calling, it's now or never.